reading out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint.
Hey, how are you?
Calling plays like a coach. Every word's a hint.
Got a loaded program today. Kion Brown joins us coming up. Talk some hoops.
The stories unfold. Rick's played by play.
Damien Sordelett. As we told you yesterday, Danny Rocco was going to resign at VMI. He did, and he now will be a analyst for James Franklin at Virginia Tech. That's why you listen to the program. Damien Sordelett joins us, the Texas football beat writer for the Roan Times. David Teel, the Hall of Famer, and Matt Roan. Wow. Really? Up in the morning to you. I don't know what kind of an accent that was, TLB. I tried. Top of the morning to you. Okay, I'm just going to stop now. So how's everybody doing? Good morning. What a show yesterday. I'm still getting response. Thank you so much. What a great time yesterday. Marty and Rags. They went for 90 minutes. We went extra. We went overtime yesterday. But that's okay. See, that's of your own show. Instead of having rules, you can just do whatever you want. Hit us up on the McClellan Chiropractic chat room and also the Professional Incorporated text line. But we are here, and the reason it's been a hectic morning, surgery was just completed on Balboa Creek. Those of you that have asked, and I appreciate everybody who's had concern. As I've been telling you, it wasn't quite ready, right, to operate. And then he came and got me this morning. You know, they know, animals know. I'm always amazed by animals. Dogs, cats, I mean, and cats are probably pound for pound smarter. And he was acting a little aggressive coming up here, and he was kind of, woke me up a little earlier. And that abscess had gotten to the point to where it was ready to go. And I know he was telling me, right? He was just telling me to do it. So I'd already shaved a little spot open. So about 45 minutes ago, we did the deed, and it was pretty gross. But he didn't like it. He didn't bite me, though. He's like he wanted to. He's making horrible sounds. But we got it out, tried to squeeze out all the infection, and got some antibiotic in there. So he'll probably hide for several hours now. But yes, it has happened. The surgery is done. But had a great time yesterday, and thanks to everybody. Hit us up in the chat room. Hello there, cute hamster. Is that what it says? Cute hamster. Want to thank all of our sponsors, Family Fencing Studios, 540-200-8294, familyfencingnrv.com. Go see Jason Green and Company. It's going to warm up now for the next week or so. And boy, get out there. Need to get the ground thawed. Let them come and take care of your fencing right now. Thanks to Mark Hundley, McClellan Chiropractic. Appreciate him, as always. He's the best. So we appreciate Mark, and let him go fix you right off of Peppers Ferry Road. You can't miss him over there. Big, big building. Thanks to Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, presenting sponsor, BDST. Thanks to Jonathan Sweet and Tim Miller. Charles Lee out in the blue and black van, Little River Heating and Air. Had a couple people tell me they've reached out and they're very satisfied already with the communication. They hadn't had the work done yet, but they're very happy. Yeah, you give Charles a call, man. He's got a great crew. Great crew. 540-553-2971. Great people. Great people. Ryan Pry, the attorney, sponsor of our BDST fan question of the week, 701 West Main Street in Radford, Trust and Estate Planning. I changed it up, by the way. I asked you a question yesterday. I'm going to change it now. The question is, do you care about bowls any longer? Do you still care about bowl games? I don't. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner BDST, my exclusive banking partner for the last 35 years. They've never not been able to help me with an issue, ever. Thanks to Travis Williams, Professional Door Incorporated, residential commercial garage doors. Best in the business. His dad started the business, and now 38 years they've been running. They get jobs all over the region, and they have a full fleet now, so that's awesome. Travis is the best. And Bob Christ and the Ready Set Fund, ReadySetFund.com. You need to raise some money for your professional. Yeah, for your professional life or a high school sports team, church group, whatever it is. Reach out to Bob, bobchrist11@gmail.com. Of course, he is the brother of Dave Christ. If you want a BDST t-shirt, hit me up, $20. Here locally, $30 if shipped. And we want to thank Harvey's GM in Radford. Good morning, Prometheus. How are you? Harvey's is the best. They're the best. Go see them. Service, vehicles, you name it. They're the best. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply since 1997. It's the place to go for manufactured home parts such as windows, doors, and plumbing supplies, plus installation. Give them a call, 540-381-8011. And the NRV Super Bowl over in Christiansburg. Thanks to them for being supporters of the program. On December the 12th, they started something they call NRV Nightlife from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Give them a call, 540-382-5525. Ask for Amanda or Terry, and they will take care of you. And I'm thinking if we ever do the meetup, that might be a good place to do it. Maybe they'll let us bring, grills out there and we can just cook. We can just cook food. So anyway, surgery this morning for the Creed. And I believe it went well. Haven't been able to get the follow-up visit because he took off, but he's hiding somewhere. So a loaded program again today. Eli Drinkwitz, by the way, who signed a new deal at Missouri. Did you see his presser yesterday? He says college football is very sick right now, and there's a lot of signs that the sport is cracking. He said tampering is at the highest levels. There's no such thing as tampering anymore. Everyone on my roster who is signed to a deal is being called, everyone. And I'm sure this is the way it is across the country. And this is something coaches have to deal with we don't think about. Just because a kid is committed, he may have a deal, But because there are no rules in place, and I don't know how legal these documents are, let's say one of the kids that James Franklin brought in, the running back, what was his name? Messiah? Let's say he's agreed to some kind of NIL. Well, what if somebody says, wait a minute, let's say, I don't know, Florida State. We can give you $500,000 more. I mean, all he has to do is just leave, because these aren't national letters of, these aren't like, national letters of intent. He'll just say, I'm leaving. That contract's not good. I'm getting a better contract over here, I guess, is my understanding, right? I mean, again, what is the legality of it? Ryan Pry, attorney, are you in here? By the way, all the collectives are going to fall by the wayside here pretty soon. Those are all going to be gone across the country. Don't know when, but that's going to happen. So I don't know, but I'm seeing this all over the place. Just because you have guys on your roster, and there might be some guys who are satisfied, they know that'll be the best deal, but Drinkwitz went off yesterday, man. Look, we know college football screwed up. We know it is. We'll all be watching Friday. And that's what they count on, because we're going to watch the games. Oh, by the way, thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel, too. I didn't thank Brandon. Sorry, Brandon. 540-616-8153. Screen printing and embroidery. I'm interested to see how this part of it develops. So if we get the attorney Ryan Pry in here at some point, I'd like to ask him, or our BDST legal counsel, Richie Davis, who's always lurking. I wonder what the legal precedent is on that. I mean, I don't know. I know, yeah, you're right, Prometheus. I did see, what was that? That was, what school was that sued the kid? It was last week, right? He had signed a big deal. I'm not sure if he never played because he was hurt and then left and still collected the money. I got to be honest, I hope we see more than that. For instance, if James Franklin has these kids and then they have an agreement and then he finds out, he gets a call or two, hey, I'm going here now. I would think there has to be some protection for the coach. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I know we have to have a lot of people who know more about this than I do. TLB says, if I catch a ball game that's competitive with a close score, I watch. Yeah, exactly, because it's a game. But we don't really care. Good morning, Rodney. How are you doing, brother? Yeah, Georgia. There you go. Feels like Georgia wouldn't do that unless they know they're going to win. Kirby Smart, who's cut from the Nick Saban cloth, right? Good morning, Rick. What's up with the Georgia Tech coaches being taken? You got some money issues I'm hearing down there. I know a couple people down there. I know you know a lot of people down there. I'm not sure exactly why there's a squeeze on the staff, but that is what I've heard, Stephen. Now, the running backs coach that's going to come to Blacksburg was told to leave by Brent Key. That I know. Something happened between Key and, well, what's his name? What's his name? He's coming to Blacksburg. He's going to be James Franklin's new running back coach. No, I don't know their name. But anyway, Danny Rocco, as we told you yesterday, resigned. Emotional meeting with the team late yesterday afternoon, and he will come to Blacksburg as the strategic analyst for James Franklin. That is going to happen. I'm trying to find his name. What's his name? Come on. He's either your running back coach or the dreaded co-running back coach. I don't know. I don't know what they call that position now. Why these co-things are weird. By the way, more quarterbacks go into portal. Virginia Tech's going to get a really good quarterback. Anyway, That kid is going to come. Thank you. Thank you, Heath. Norvell McKenzie. He was told to leave or encouraged to leave by Brent Key. I don't know what happened there. But I asked radio dude, I said, was that something that was, he goes, no, they had some animosity. Okay. So he'll come to Blacksburg and he's going to work for James Franklin. Hasn't been announced yet, but just that's going to happen. Just like we told you Rocco was going to come to Blacksburg. So things are happening all over the country. Staffs are being shaken up. This whole thing, I'm going to write about this week in the Patriot, man. It's, hey, Christopher Lester. What's up, brother? Good morning. How are you? It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm going to write about this with how ridiculous things are. But I'm going to say this too, and I mean this. It is not the athlete's fault. Like, we're going to criticize. We don't like the money that's being thrown around, okay? But this is not the fault of the athlete. If you give someone an inch, they're going to take a mile. Well, for years, the people who ran college athletics had one of the biggest con jobs, Ponzi schemes in the history of sports that was just accepted by everybody. And all these players, especially football players and men's basketball, made a lot of people a lot of money for a really long time. And I know if you're old school, you're going to say, hey, they got room and board. They got free meals. I understand that. And that was what they sold, scholarships. And that was okay for a long, long time, right? But then the money became so ridiculous. And Ed O'Bannon challenged it because he saw it. The UCLA former All-American led them to the national title in 95. Saw and heard and knew that what was going on here. There was some study that he was part of. It showed what the athletes had earned. You name it. Networks, administrators at schools, advertisers, commissioners of these conferences. And the athlete was getting no money other than their books and education. And then, look, I know there's going to be a lot of people who say, well, that should be enough. Well, not anymore. No. We're in the multi-billions of dollars. So all this stuff that's going on isn't the athlete's fault. We get frustrated by it. We don't like, we call them not being loyal. And it's ridiculous when you see guys like what was it the other day? The Georgia State quarterback. He's going to like his sixth school, and you have guys that are going from school to school to school. But let's say James Franklin's looking for a quarterback next year, and it's a kid that's been at 3 other places, but he's really good. Are you going to care that he's been at 3 other places? Do you think Virginia cared that Morris was at 3 other places? Yeah, it's everybody's fault, and it's everybody's fault who was in charge of leadership all those years. And then the NCAA did nothing. They could have just cut this off at the pass. I don't know, Paul. That's a great question. What sport is not tainted and worth watching? I don't know, man. That's where you just have to make a personal decision. But I'll tell you, when I first realized it, and I still remember it vividly, it was also, 2 of my biggest college memories are at the bowling alley, or the former bowling alley down at Heath Hall at RU, where I punched the guy when he hit my hat after the Redskins beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl. But I was walking out of the bowling alley going to my English class, and I remember there was a thing on television about how Peyton Manning had sold 1 million jerseys they had estimated at Tennessee throughout his career. 1 million jerseys. And then I just remember the commentator going, guess how much money Peyton Manning got out of that? None. 0. And I didn't even consciously, and I started, okay. And I walked to class. I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. They're buying that 16 jersey because it's his. They're not just buying it because it's Tennessee. So I don't know. It's a great question. That's right. How do you coach these kids? How do you coach them? Phil Elmation said that, right? Coach Elmo. I don't know. And that's up to these coaches to have to figure it out, the ones that are going to evolve how this is flowing. But I'm telling you this, it's going to implode sooner than later. The bottom's going to fall out. How much more money? I asked this yesterday. How much more money can you, if you are someone who donates, how much more can you give? Quarterback positions are going to keep going up, just like in the NFL. Some of these guys are going to make on the average of $4 million a year. Tech's going to have to pay more than $2 million a year for their new quarterback if they want a good one. The cost of doing business is going to continue to rise until something happens. And I don't know, guys and gals. I don't know. As long as humans are involved, sports will be, humans ruin it all, don't we? David says all you have to do is look at the facilities related to football at the universities, weight rooms, indoor practice buildings. Yeah. Everywhere you go, the football buildings are just awe-inspiring. Yeah, they may have given him the platform, sure. But would they have made all that money, multi-millions of dollars, without him developing into the player that he was? See, that's a straw man argument, right? Because other players, there were a few other players that had jerseys at the time. I think the running back, maybe was Carl Pickens there? But you think about if you're the reason a school's making multi-millions of dollars and you're not seeing a dime of it, and you are an adult person, we were under the guise that college students weren't adults. Well, you know what? You can go fight for your country. You have to go fight for your country when you're 18. In college, you're in your, 20s. You're an adult person. Following college sports today is like watching an injured seal being returned to the ocean only to be eaten by the shark. That's a good analogy, Thunder. It is disgusting. It is. It's hard to even go on X. And that's where I keep it. It's a cesspool. X is such a. But you do get information before, right? When Danny Rocco resigned yesterday, it came out 2 hours before VMI released it, Of course, we told you yesterday, the day before. It is ruining it all. And that's why I asked the question, how much more can we take? We go back to the games because we love the game, right? We love football. It is America's pastime. We can't get enough. And I guess now they are all just counting on us to always give them the ratings and the money that they need out of that. I mean, I'll be watching Friday, right? You'll likely be watching. And the bottom line is that's all they care about. And it's disturbing. It is. But we can talk about the lack of loyalty of athletes, and it's true. But the lack of loyalty for coaches has been going on a lot longer. When coaches could jump from job to job whenever they wanted, and you didn't have the portal, you didn't have these transfer legislation in place, and athletes were stuck. And if they wanted to leave, even if the coach left, they'd have to sit out a year. Remember that? Remember how ridiculous that was? All these decisions that took away the rights of the young people that were making the money for everybody else is what has led us down this path of seemingly no return and hopelessness. It's not the same. It's professional football. There's no more amateurism attached to any of this. This is professional sports. For many, many years, first run of the show, I don't know how many people we heard from or how many interviews we did where people would say, well, I like college football, college basketball better because it's not professional stuff has gotten so involved in the money. Well, hey, you can't say that anymore. The root of the problem, in my humble opinion, is that schools kicked academics to the curb completely. Yeah, sports notoriety and the money that comes with it became the only thing that mattered. They need to build up a new system from the ground up, take it to the courts to finalize. They need leadership. Absolutely. There's no leadership. And there's no leadership because the NCAA, made up of all the schools, and all the schools know if anything's challenged, they're going to lose. They lose every court case. So they kind of operate in fear and paranoia. The athletes know they have them over a barrel. There you go, Jamal Lewis. Thanks, Hokey Bob. Somehow I'm going to guess he wasn't selling 1 million jerseys. Good player, good NFL career. But I don't know what the ending is going to look like. I just know they're going to continue to ask you, the fans, those of you that have contributed and supported, they're going to ask you for more. To help with these rising costs, to help secure the best players possible so they can, eventually make more money down the road with good teams. And all that is going to be up to everyone else in their personal decision. Everybody. It's crazy. It is crazy. And this is what happened. Oh, Dad, you were so wise. The fish rots from the head, son. You don't know what that means right now, but you will one day. The fish rots from the head. What do you mean, Dad? We go fishing all the time. I like fishing. No, son. You'll understand one day. That's not what we're talking about, Prometheus. Of course. If you read the Junction Boys and Paul Bear Bryant, he was dropping money out of crop dusters in the cornfields and the hayfields of John David Crow, the running back who ended up playing for him at Texas A&M. Of course, there's been illegal payments, but it didn't go to everybody. Of course, this shit's been going on since the 20s and 30s and 40s. Absolutely. Everybody knows that. That's not what this is. We're talking about a quarterback who starts for one school making, $1 million. The North Texas quarterback is going into the portal, and they're even talking about, he's even putting out there, hey, now I feel like I can make at least twice or maybe even more than I made last year. Right? Cheating's been going on at the table for years. Absolutely. Blue Chips is the most accurate movie that maybe has ever been made about collegiate sports. Great movie. And people used to say that it was exaggerated. I don't think they probably pushed it enough. All right? In the battle to try to get the best players. Joining us now on the program, and I know he'll have an opinion about this, is that guy. And I'm excited because I get to work with that guy tomorrow night.
Yeah, I do.
Brown. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. You still with me tomorrow night, right?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
Me and you in Williamsburg.
Yeah, man. I'll be hanging out in the 757 all day. I got the women's game at 11 a.m. And then I got, the men's game at William and Mary with you at 7, dude. It's going to be a great day. I'm going to be in the 757 all day long.
By the way, I got you hooked up with the women's situation.
Okay,
Greg
perfect.
Wade. Yeah, so Greg
Wade,
Greg Wade's the guy, and I'll hook you guys up today. But
okay.
It won't be a problem getting with McGuire at all.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I can't complain about a thing. I can't.
Oh, good.
Christmas right around the corner. I'm
Yeah.
chilling. I'll be in Richmond this weekend. We're busy around here, man.
Well, I know. Well, let's get into the. Well,
Yeah.
You're right here. You follow all this. We're talking about the mess that is college. Right now, it's football, but it's been going on in basketball too.
Yeah.
When does this bottom out, KB? I mean, how long can this continue to go around? How long can guys go in the portal, quarterbacks, and make $4, $5, $6 million a year? There's only going to be 2 or 3 positions that make that kind of money.
Yeah.
When are fans going to have enough, or will we ever be able to say we've had enough?
They're never going to say you have enough. It's going to be like when you get the replacement NFL players. They're still going to watch. It doesn't matter. It's like an addiction. It's the adrenaline. It's the thrill you get on a Saturday morning or right at 12 or noon to just watch college football. It's the number one sport in America. You can't run from it, whether it's the NFL or college. The college has more viewers than the NBA. It is what it is. It's America's sport, right? You go to a game, you see the tailgate, right? The traditions growing up as a youngin' with your family. And then when you grow up, you want that for your kids as well, to be out on whatever alumni you're of. And, you know, it's the thing here in America. Good luck trying to fix it. It probably won't get fixed because the viewers aren't going anywhere.
And there's no leadership that has any kind of authority because they've given it all up. They just said, here, go for it. Free for all. We're going to stay out of the court. So just do whatever you want to do. Yeah.
But you can see in some of these sports, it's all about money. We know that, but money doesn't guarantee success. Look at Kentucky basketball right now. It just doesn't. Right? You can have all the money that you want, still doesn't equal to a successful product on the court or on the field. It just doesn't. So it's like 2 heads to a coin. Yeah, we have all the money. That's great. Let's see if you can actually win, or you have players who only care about money, because that's the problem a lot of programs across the country are having right now. They have money, they pay their players, but the players worry about check day. When's my money coming?
Absolutely.
And if it's 20 minutes late, I'm not practicing. Right.
No, you're right. You talk to coaches like I do. That's happening, by the way.
Yes.
In college basketball right now, a kid will disappear, not respond to text because his check didn't come through.
Yep. Or if they don't get the money, last year we talked about it on the show, we're sending the school to court. That's happened multiple times. I don't get my money. All right. You're being served. See you in court, bucko.
Because there's no contract.
Yeah.
There's no contracts. There's no how can this I don't understand how this was ever allowed to happen without any kind of all right, well, you're going to be employees, and that's what's going to have to happen. They're going to have to become employees, and you're going to have contracts like you and I do, and everybody who's watching has in their job.
Well, that's what's next. I mean, it's almost inevitable. It's almost inevitable. And then what I also think is going to happen when they say they're employees is within those contracts is going to say, all right, if you enter the transfer portal early, it's going to be like a buyout. And in that buyout, you're going to have to pay us a portion of our money back, and then you're free to do what you want. That's what's going to happen. That's my prediction. I can't think of anything else or any other scenario that could fix this, but I think you're right on. Students will be considered employees, and you'll have probably a 2-year contract. And then if you want to move on, you're going to have to pay the university money back in a buyout, and then you're free to do as you please. That's what I think is going to happen. If I could predict anything, I think we're headed that way.
And people immediately want to blame all the young people. And I get it's frustrating.
Yeah.
All right. I understand. But I don't put this on the athlete.
Of course not. No.
I put this on leagues like the SEC. Greg Sankey. Morons like that are the ones that are responsible for this because they sit back and they just, hey, we've got all the money in the world.
Yeah.
Right? We're never going to have to worry about this. We're the SEC. We're bringing in more money. We have the largest TV contract. We're partners with Disney. Hey, everybody else. That's why we're going to create a super league with the Big Ten. They're the ones that keep letting all this happen because they're not affected by it as much.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate, but you're right on the money. They're not affected by much, but all it takes is one tragic moment with somebody in money for this thing to flip over as well. But we'll see how it goes. It's the day and age of college basketball. So as fans, we just have to get used to it. It's not the same as 20 years ago, not even a decade when I was in college. A decade ago when I was in college is not the same. It's hard to get used to, though. I think that's the problem that people are having. It's hard to get used to.
Yeah.
It's one thing to understand that we know what's happening. It's another thing to come at peace with it. It's just something that won't ever feel right.
And how ridiculous is the notion that some kid making $2-3 million that we expect him to go to class?
Yeah.
How are we going to expect, Arch Manning, who's made $6 million, to get up for an 8:00 class
Yeah.
the day after a practice or travel back from a Thursday? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, what world are we living in where we think that's happening?
Well, we know what's happening. They'll say they're in class and somebody's doing the work for them. I can say that. I'm telling you, that is what goes on in college sports, especially at those high major institutions. Other people are doing that work. I went to Fort Union Military Academy.
Yeah.
Saying that it is a football factory. Those guys weren't there because they couldn't play football. Those guys were there because they couldn't write 2 complete sentences back to back. I tell you that. That's why.
It's sad. It's
Right.
sad. But no, you're right. They go, and I've heard this from coaches, and I'm sure you have too. Certain coaches, certain programs will go before the season starts. When everybody gets back in August, when the students come back, they will go up, have like, hey, come see us, Radford basketball or Virginia Tech basketball or Kentucky basketball, and say, hey, if you want to make a little extra money, you want to help tutor our players. And then tutoring players ends up being you're doing the schoolwork for our players.
And end up playing, I need this 15-page report done by next Tuesday.
Yeah.
I better have it by next Sunday. That's what
that's right. That's right. It's ridiculous where we are.
Yeah.
It really, really is. It's sad. It's sad. I just don't know how much more it's going to take. I don't know how much more the system's going to be able to absorb.
Yeah.
I agree, Stephen. Yeah. If they're employees, you have to put don't you have to put the academics back in it somewhere?
I guess, but as much as the guys are transferring now, the credits doesn't follow. All of the credits don't follow them. So whenever you're watching sports and you see a guy that says, he transferred to UConn, but he came from Colorado State and he came from San Diego State. And then before that, he was at Utah. That guy's probably 20 credits behind graduations, but been in college for 4 years because every institution he's went to, the transfer won't follow him. They don't graduate. They don't tell you this, but it's the truth and what happens. That's why the old rules was when you transfer, you had to sit out a year. It wasn't because they didn't want you to play immediately. It's because they thought of you as a student first, and part of it was that they wanted you to catch up with your credits. And if you have a full year to do that without playing, by the time you get back on the court or on the field, you have caught up in academics as well. So now you're ready to get on the court and you're all caught up.
Well, and as we've seen how the athletes rose up against the system, courtesy of the Ed O'Bannon Challenge, it's time for the fans to rise up. That's the only thing that I can think of that might stop this, or at least change it, is if the fans just said no. But we just talked about it. You can't do it.
It's too hard.
In these SEC football environments where all that matters is football. You think about how many small towns there are in the SEC, right?
Yes.
The SEC is littered with small communities. The whole thing, just like here, Blacksburg involves Tech football. Same thing.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to tell them no. You can't say no. You're not going to be able to turn away from it.
Too many pastimes, man. Too much family memories. You grow up and you give it to your kid. You're not changing it. You're just not. And there's too many institutions as well. You talk about college. How many universities are there? Even if you think of the mid-majors, it has to be a cohesive unit. Everyone has to be a part of it. But we'll see. Look at James Madison. Those guys are in the college football playoff.
Right.
They aren't the biggest school.
No.
But those folks down at JMU love them some JMU football. It's just going to be tough, man.
I know. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And it's troubling. It is troubling.
Yeah.
Wayne says, hey, Kion, love your sweatshirt, man. The only thing that would make it better would be an Air Jordan icon.
Oh, no.
I agree.
No. This is a good one. This is the Nike Tech. The only thing that will look good on here is the King James logo.
Well, let's talk about 53 points scored by Dennis Parker Jr. It's one of those things that happen, and it's unfolding now. Granted, Coppin State was the next to last team in Division I college basketball, and they weren't really doing much to defend, but still, you got to make the shots. 19-24, and 10 3 balls for
crazy.
National Player of the Week in college basketball.
He was everywhere. Every sports show that I watched, he was on. Like every podcast I listened to, every sports ticker show I saw, he was on it. So congratulations to him, and what a performance. gosh, I saw you. I heard you and Cole. Was like, dude, is he going to keep it going? And he kept it going. 10 threes. Man, that room became as big as the ocean. But I told you before the season, I'm a Dennis Parker Jr. guy. And I'm a bit biased because he's in Richmond. He's from Richmond. But just because I'm biased, it doesn't mean it's right. And he's just proved me right. That kid can go. And ever since he was at John Marshall, when they were the #1 school in the country, they went to a national tournament. He didn't play because he went to USA Basketball and they ended up losing. So I've been following him for a while now. And to see him play for us, you better enjoy it while you can. I'll say that.
Well, that's the other side of it. You know, he broke the record of a 4-year legacy in Doug Day, and he's going to be at Radford 1 year. He comes in, right?
Yeah.
And he does that. It's kind of like, yeah, I know. It's got the other side of it too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's great. He had that night, but then you're like,
yeah, it's not the same. The rivalries aren't the same. It's just, hey, we appreciate him so much for picking Radford. We really do. We appreciate the time that he'll be here, but we also understand we're not dumb. And you said it yourself. It's not the player's fault. If I'm at a school like Radford, and we talked about it, why do players enter the transfer portal? They don't have much time at a high major program. They come to Radford, show everybody how good they really are. Dennis Parker Jr. is a beast. He's going to play this year out, lead the team in scoring, probably finish average somewhere in the 17 to 20 points per game mark. And then he's going to take his talents probably most likely to another high major program. And then he's going to be a rotational piece and a contributor there. And I'm not mad at that. Because if you let's take it back to your 20-year-old self, anybody watching, if there's somebody that's offering you, we'll say $500,000 to play basketball, why wouldn't you take it?
I know. Exactly.
Come on now. I mean, we got to just be real with ourselves. That's why he says not the player's fault. We're not going to turn down money, or the players aren't going to turn down money just to make fans happy. It's not happening. It's not. And we can't blame those guys at all. If the money's there, go get it. It's up to the adults or the people in charge. As you said, there isn't anybody in charge right now. Nobody wants to touch it to make changes. But until those changes happen, these players are going to continue to push money, and they're going to continue to pursue that. And I'm not mad at them.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's, you know, we in our pregame on the Radford Radio Network, we interview every opposing coach, right? And I had a great conversation about all this with Takeo Siddle, the former Gardner-Webb guard, who's the head coach at Wilmington, and he's done an outstanding job. He's going to be a Power 4 coach.
No,
probably
he's
next
good.
year. And he just said, you know, Rick, it's just the reality. We go into every year thinking, okay, we're likely going to have 2 or 3 guys maybe hold over. We know there's going to be a 10 to 12 player overhaul, and we've started to work on what kind of player we're going to need for that, because we know we're just a minor league now for these guys. That's the way he said it. We're just the minor leagues. Guys are stopping off to rebuild reputations at our place. He goes, at your place like Radford, if they fell out of favor in the Power League, well, they build it back up with us, is what he was saying. Have a good year, and then all of a sudden they're a hot commodity again and can get another chance and a bigger payday. That's all it is.
Yep, that's all it is. And that's the transfer portal. It's broken down into a few ways. One way, you were at the Power 4 school, didn't get much player time, and you go down to a lower league and you're the man there. Or you're a guy who was the man in a lower league and you want to play Power 4, think Colleague Jones, and then you play that way. The third way is probably the most unfortunate, is that you get bad advice. You're at Radford and you average 1.4 points per game. Your mom or dad tells you you're better than Radford, but you only average 1.4 points per game and all your highlights are free throws. You enter the transfer portal and you're going to be sitting in there. And then there's guys that are in the transfer portal right now that have not been picked up, that are working at Amazon or working for UPS right now, who were just playing college sports a year ago. And those guys aren't graduating as well. The grass isn't always greener. You have to think about your future before you do that. If you're a guy that you know is not going to be a high commodity, you need to do what you can to stay at your institution. That's what you have to do. It's about graduating at some point and putting yourself in position to be successful once you leave college. That's what it's all about. Make yourself be suitable so that you can have a career once your playing days are over, because everybody can't be a star. Teams need role players as well. You can't win without role players. So be a star in your role, graduate, and then live a happy extra 50 years of your life once you're done with college.
Yeah.
That's the advice I can give you.
I know. And they're making their money now. A lot of these guys to their side of it too. They know they're not going to be able to play pro ball or be good at or make the kind of contract they want. So they're making all the money they can now.
Yeah.
And then they'll figure out the rest later. That's the mind. That's the mindset.
Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing. Everybody can't be a pro. You can't. And that's okay. That is okay. That's why you are in college. You pick a major because you want to pursue a career once you're done. Pursue that career and excel in that. Work hard. But a lot of times, and it's unfortunate, when you play sports your whole life, football and basketball, and then it's just over, a lot of guys don't know how to maneuver after that. A lot of guys don't know what's next. And they'll have a degree, and I know plenty of guys like this. They'll have a degree, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with working at an Amazon or UPS or nothing like that, but they just don't know, so they'll just work at UPS or Amazon for 5 years without even pursuing what they got their degree in, the career path that way, because they just don't know how. And it's a lot of players out here like that, and you'd be surprised at how many guys are out here like that.
I know. Well, it's ugly. It's not pleasant. It's not what it used to be. The bowls are worthless. I don't know. I don't even, unless you're in the playoff, what do the bowls matter anymore, right?
Yeah,
the way what they've created, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
And the players were on this before. Players got criticized when they would sit out. Remember? Christian McCaffrey is probably the biggest example. Remember how that shocked the world with Christian McCaffrey? He may have been the first. He's a major player. He'd come off he'd not had a healthy final year at Stanford, and he knew he was going to be a top draft pick. He said, I'm not playing in the bowl game.
Yeah.
And he goes, what does it matter? It's an extra game. It's an exhibition game. Well, now turns out he was right.
Yeah, I get it, but the competitor in me is going to want to play. When you see all those guys turn down the NIT and those extra tournaments in college basketball, but what's going to happen is in the summertime, you're going to go play pickup. What I used to do is I used to play pickup at Virginia Tech when I stayed at Radford. And when I was back home at Richmond, I go to VCU or Richmond. You're going to play then. So what's the problem with playing in the CBI or the CIT or the NIT? I will never understand that in basketball. Football, I kind of can see. I really can. But in basketball, I just will never understand that. How much pickup we play in the summer, and then you don't want to play an extra, postseason game. I just will never get it. I will never understand it.
I know. Well, nonetheless, when you and I are sitting there tomorrow night, going into it on paper, it should be a really good game. What's interesting about William and Mary and Radford, they play exactly the same way.
Yeah, but Princeton has William and Mary has elements of the Princeton offense.
They do.
So you're going to have to be able to pressure the basketball without fouling. Those big guys at William and Mary make a lot of decisions for them.
That's the difference.
Yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference. I was watching film on those guys yesterday.
Did you see their pace of play? It's like, was it 20th in the nation? They get up, man. They go.
Yeah, but that's everybody.
Well,
right?
It's true. It's true.
Everybody does that. I've said it on a broadcast not too long ago. I was like, art imitates life. That's the old cliche. I say life imitates art because in basketball, everybody just copies everyone.
They do.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. It's kind of hard to keep the vibe. How are things going along with? How the broadcasts going?
They're going great. I've been everywhere. Dude, I got one coming up at Mount St. Mary's. New Year's Day, I'm at Virginia.
You get to see Coach Lynn?
Yeah. That's next month. I think that's January 20th. Like I said, New Year's Day, I'm at UVA. UVA takes on Clemson. I'm on the call for that.
Oh, New Year's Day?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. How's your enthusiasm over all this? Now, you always have such a even, rational take on things. How does this make you feel as a guy who's not so far removed from your college career?
You talking about broadcasting?
Well, no, just how sports.
Oh, dude, I can't get enough of broadcasting.
What's going
on?
If
I could do it every single day, I would.
Oh, I
am addicted to that. I remember the first game. I remember like it was yesterday. You're the reason I'm in position right now. Well, you're like, dude, come call the UVA game with me. It was Coach Nichols' first game as head coach at Radford. I was like, all right, cool, let's try it out. After that day, I was terrible at it. But I said, hold on, this is something that is addicting, it's fun. This might be something I need to pursue. So I just took it serious from then, and now look at all the opportunities I got. So this is you, dude. It is my favorite thing in the world to do. Thank you, Rick Watson.
It's all you, brother. You're the one. You're the one who's taken it and run with it.
That's goodness.
That's you. You.
Dude, I love it.
Well, we'll see. So So is that a women's game on New Year's?
Yeah, that's a women's game.
So you've got Who is it again?
It's Clemson. It's UVA. Clemson at UVA.
Clemson at UVA women's basketball. They're playing New Year's Day. Interesting.
Yeah. And Clemson, the assistant coach is Jada Worthy.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So I get to see Turtle.
We saw her last year.
Yeah.
When we played down there. We played Clemson back-to-back years, and we played them last year, and she comes running up and, gave me a big hug. And I was like,
yeah, absolutely.
She's doing great.
She's one of my favorite people in the world. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Jada's great. You think she wants to be a head coach, or is she kind of
I'm not sure. I'll definitely ask her, though.
I would like to know. Because she knows the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach McGuire, the elder statesman of the Big South, longest tenure head coach in men's or women right now. That guy can coach. So you learn a lot from guys from coaches like him. Like that man, he is unbelievable at what he does. Like Radford, we're lucky to have him at our institution. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I will hit you up later this morning with Greg's info.
Yeah, I got you.
But I talked to him yesterday and Carly, and you're good to go. So
all right, cool. So, somebody else emailed me yesterday. I forget who it was. I think it was Collins. Is that last name Collins?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But that's probably what that is. Then
okay.
Greg I mentioned he probably already followed up.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, good, man. We get Kion twice tomorrow. He's on the women's call for the Hampton game, and then he's coming to Williamsburg to hang out with me. So.
No way I'm calling the game with you in a suit, though. I'm bringing extra clothes, dude.
Don't be bringing. Yeah, we don't need suit action. You maybe look bad, and we don't suit on the Rick Watson Network. That's the one thing I always disagree with Roth about. He's always got a suit. I'm like, it's sports, man. Just relax. Just relax.
Yeah, the women's games TV with you, where we're on cruise control. I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be fun. All right, brother. Well, listen, safe travels. Have fun tomorrow. And great stuff, as always. Looking forward to having you on the broadcast with me tomorrow.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Stay safe.
All right. Yes,
there
sir.
you go. Kion Brown joining us on the program. Good stuff. Good takes all the way around from KB. He's really good. He gives me way too much credit, man. That's all him. He's the one who was really good at it. And you could tell early on I think his last year at Radford, we got him involved in the program down there with the broadcast, and he would offer to do anything. He had passion for it. I knew he knew the game, and I watched him develop as a player. Like, he worked his tail off, man. As a player, he always talks about it. He talks about how he grew up as a person. Just a great dude. I love that guy. I do. All right, let's get caught up here in chat. Damien Sordelett here. We got David Teel, and then Matt Roan. He's going to take us through this journey, folks. You don't want to miss that. The JMU athletic director is going to go through Bob Chesney, this whole process, Billy Napier, how he's handled it. JMU's going to Oregon. There's been a great battle back and forth between Twitter with Oregon and JMU, and they've been having great fun. It's so much fun. What a great opportunity. Great opportunity. Yeah, let's get caught up here. Yeah, KB is really good. He is really good. Yes, Wayne. He's doing the women's game on New Year's Day, not the Tech and UVA play New Year's Eve. Correct. KB is completely at glass half full. Yeah, he's teaching me how to be more optimistic on things, because it's hard for me when I see what's happening all around. TLB says it has to change. None of this can continue. The stupidity keeps increasing exponentially. It will crash and burn. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. It will crash and burn. Yeah. All right. We segue from one outstanding guest to the other. Joining us now, I saw him yesterday. He was down at the Devon Center hanging out with me. He came to Devon just to see me. Well, no, that's not true. Damien Sordelett, what's going on, man?
Not much. Got to talk to Dennis Parker for a few minutes and catch up on his 53-point outing. And then I'll be back at the Devon Center Sunday to see the Keydets and the Highlanders.
All right. Yeah, you have a piece coming out. Is it tomorrow it's coming out about DP?
Yeah. Talk about his 53. I know we were discussing this before the practice ended, how some of these single game records are going to fall because of the talent you're bringing in nowadays through the transfer portal. But luckily, some of these 4-year records are going to stand for the guys who, were lifers at Radford. So part of the world we're living in.
Yeah, the career records will stay now, but those individual records are always going to be in jeopardy. That's right. That's exactly right. Danny Rocco, as we mentioned yesterday, and I think you had talked about it before. I mean, he left VMI. He's going to come join and be an analyst here for James Franklin. He worked with him before. He knows all about James Franklin, and VMI is one of those nearly impossible jobs, right? It feels like anyway. So your thoughts on that addition to James Franklin's staff?
I think it's a good hire. They have obviously Rocco has a connection with Fontaine Mines. I think he was at UVA the same time Mines was a player there.
Right.
Rocco's was a linebackers coach, and usually they had some good linebackers during that time at UVA. So that's an area he could probably help Brent Pry out with if needed. I brought this up with you yesterday, how this could be like a Jerry Kill type hire for James Franklin, to have someone who has a wealth of coaching experience, to have someone on the sideline during games who has been in certain types of situations before, and provide insight to, all right, you should do this, or just have someone in your ear that has done this, especially late game situations, high pressure situations. That's something I think could be very good for Franklin, for Virginia Tech, because Danny Rocco's done this. VMI, Delaware, Liberty, Richmond. He's done a good job with this in terms of coaching. He had, granted, the 2 bad years consecutively at VMI, but had a good year prior to that. So, I think it's a good hire, and I think it should be a good fit for the Hokies.
Norman McKenzie was asked to leave by Brent Key at Georgia Tech, and he left, and he's coming to Blacksburg. I kind of thought that might be a coach that be retained. I thought the running backs really got better and better last year. I was really impressed with the development. They created some depth, but they made a change there, and we'll have to wait and see how a new guy comes in. What do you think about that kind of a give and take there for James Franklin on his staff?
I think it goes to recruiting. Ty Howell's recruiting footprint is the DMV. Elijah Brooks's footprint is the DMV. Norvell's footprint is Atlanta. And I know if you look at the map for the footprint in the 6-hour radius, Atlanta doesn't get into there. But if you can go to ROA and get a nonstop flight to Atlanta and get there in an hour, that's in your radius. And so now you can tap into recruiting into the area that Virginia Tech really hasn't gotten into Atlanta, Northern Florida. And there's a lot of good prospects down there. And James Franklin talked about, you got to recruit nationally these days. So I thought Brooks was going to be retained. I thought he had done a good job with, like you mentioned, developing these players. Granted, for 2 years, the only running back he developed was Bashal Tootin. There was no, like, Malachi Thomas didn't develop. Jeremiah Coney, Tyler Mason didn't really get a chance to develop. At least we saw this year. You saw with Marcellus Hawkins. You saw with Terrion Stewart when he's healthy. And we saw with Jeff Overton when he came back from the ACL injury. You saw development. And I think the big telling stat that he put out on a graphic announcing he was leaving, 0 fumbles lost by the running backs this year.
Yeah.
That's a good sign of ball
That's
security.
massive. Yeah.
But I think it comes down to recruiting, and you get now someone from the ATL, someone who knows that region, someone who can. And I mean, Jamal Haynes was really good last few years for Georgia Tech. I think, I'm partial to Brooks because I've seen the results on the field, but I also think with McKenzie, you're at least getting a new footprint and someone who has proven he can develop running backs at Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I'd like to know why he was asked to leave by Brent Key. There's one of those things, too. You kind of wonder what was going on there.
Everyone's leaving that staff.
Well, yeah, but this one specifically was, hey, we want you to go ahead and take off. Yeah, so but we'll see. I think that's a little bit of a downgrade, at least on paper. I understand about the recruiting, what you're saying, but you got to bring coaches in who can coach. Recruiting's taken care of nowadays by money in a lot of ways. You got money that you can reach in more areas than you used to. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. It's all speculative because we don't know how it's going to fit. We don't know how the pieces are going to fit yet. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Not a lot of information coming out. You and I were talking about this yesterday. I know they're frustrated over at Tech sideline. You just don't know much of what's happening. Are you getting any kind of trickets down of information at all about the staff, about guys who have been asked to go to the portal? I mean, I guess we're in that realm where they're trying to keep everything under wraps with, everything happening on January 2nd.
Yeah, in terms of staff, that's all agent-driven these days, and the agents will go to their sources. So that's why you see, like, Matt Zenitz from CBS.
He's getting all of it, yeah.
He's getting all of it because probably the connections with VT Scoop on the 247 site, they probably are feeding that to him. So it's all agent-driven. So, like, we're not getting any info coming out of Merriman. I've been told, at least with Jeff Overton announcing that he's coming back, I think we're going to start getting some of that. I don't know how quickly that's going to come because, again, we might see with what the defensive staff looks like that guys might stay. Or Franklin's might have already told them, hey, if you don't buy into this, you got to leave. So we don't know. Virginia Tech players will start announcing here before January 2nd that they're going to enter the portal. That way you can get a jump on where you might be able to go so you can roll for the spring semester. Because, again, the spring semester of Virginia Tech, I believe, starts on January 16th. And the portal closes on the 15th, I want to say. So it's a quick turnaround. So for Virginia Tech to get guys into the portal and then get guys out of the portal, it's going to have to be a quick turnaround because of when the semester starts. So I think we'll start hearing some stuff soon. But again, right now, I think with the wait, I don't have that type of money. I think we'll start hearing some stuff soon. And then hopefully, like we talked about last week with this whole access and stuff, hopefully Brent Pry is going to come in and say, all right, you can trust these guys. We need to at least give them some access here.
Well, Overton staying because he got paid. You think we'll ever come to a day where we're going to find out what guys are going to make? You think they'll ever be made to release all this at some point? Like, it's all speculative. We're never going to know amounts, are we? It doesn't feel like we're ever going to know how much a guy's getting, really. So.
Right, but when you have to file your yearly taxes, when you have to file everything, we'll at least get to see how much is going to football in terms of rev share.
Oh, that's true. At least we get the fund, I guess.
We get the general idea. I find it weird that, like, Southern Cal is tweeting that these players have re-signed.
I know, man. Like, all these pictures of guys looking up with a contract in front of them. I know. What are we doing?
Well, I understand NIL is year to year. So,
yeah.
Same with rev sharing. So, I think I can't remember if Virginia Tech is January 1st through December 31st or if it's the school year. So, based on guys saying they're staying, I'm wondering if it's going to – I can't remember off the top of my head what Whip Babcock told us, but it might be it's a January to December thing for football players. And, like, for sports that cross over semesters like basketball, wrestling, golf, tennis, you might get it where it's the school calendar year. But in terms of, like, football, it's probably going to be probably going to be January through December, just because of the way the schedule's made out and the transfer portal window. You come in and get your contract.
Wayne's asking, Witt staying for sure now? That just has kind of gone away. I guess he's just assumed he's going to be hanging out over there in a non-football capacity for another year.
Yeah, so I go back to the Jay Pearson interview with the Sons of Saturday podcast where he detailed how they got James Franklin. He brought up that Witt and Tim Sands aren't scheduled to meet again until June, and nothing's going to happen until then. So I'm assuming he's staying. I think David Teel's prediction that Witt Babcock will be the AD at the start of the 2026 football season is looking more and more like a thing. I think he saved his job with how he handled the coaching search. Got it right this time, at least on paper, got it right this time. And
well, he had it right on paper with Justin Fuente, too. That didn't
He did,
work out.
and everyone wanted Fuente. Fuente was the guy, but he just wasn't a cultural fit for Virginia Tech. James Franklin is going to be a cultural fit for Virginia Tech.
You hope. We don't know that.
Yeah. Well, if he can have
he's not gotten off to a good start locking himself in the Merriman Center. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, but you can make up for that with Brent Pry going out and meeting with the fans like he has been. Like, Brent Pry's not going to change that aspect of him. I think once everything gets settled down and Franklin can actually breathe, because I think right now he's still in that marathon that's also a sprint with getting the roster set up, finishing out his coaching staff. I think he'll get a chance. I think you'll see a different side of him. I think you'll actually get to see Franklin out in public versus, constantly just working, which is what he's doing right now.
Damien Sordelett joining us on the program, the Virginia Tech football beat writer, as we head into the postseason. We've been talking about, when do you think the bottom falls out of all this? With, maybe everybody wants to blame the athlete. I don't think we can just sit back and blame the athlete. They're just finally getting their piece. They're not handling it well because they're immature, making a lot of money. For years, they were kept from it, and now, you give them an inch, they take a mile, and everybody's trying to get theirs. When do you think this finally gets some kind of regulation at all? Like, when will these guys finally be forced to become employees like all the rest of us?
Oh, boy, that's going to be the sticking point for every university, because they don't want students to be employees. That's the thing the NCAA has been fighting since the beginning of time. So it's going to be a while. You need something that reins in these agents that are getting 20% off these players' contracts.
That's true. We don't talk about that, and that's a great point.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus,
handlers. Yeah.
Versus when you look at the pros, it's what, 4%, 5% at most. So, you're looking at 4 to 5 times, more what these agents are making off these college kids versus what they're making off pros. And I like to see NIL used the right way, name, image, likeness, because I see so many Arch Manning commercials for various products during these football games, and it's like, that's what NIL was supposed to do, allow you to do stuff like that.
True, so, that's true. You're right. The original version of it. Yeah.
There's going to have to be a complete. I agree with Andrew here. Complete rebuild for how we do things, from the calendar, from how these contracts are worked out, rev share deals, I should say. I mean, they're essentially contracts, but the rev share deals, you're going to have to find a way to work the calendar that helps the players as much as it helps the universities, because right now with this one portal window, we see, like, you have to be out of that portal before the final day because you need to be able to get to school. I think that gets lost in this. So I don't know. You might be looking at a complete rebuild because they're probably going to need to rebuild the college football playoff.
Yeah, it's going to change again next year, I bet.
Yeah. Get rid of the committee.
Yes.
Go back to the BCS, which had 2 human elements to it if you want to keep that. AP poll and the coaches poll. And then just add in more computer metrics.
How bad is it that we're clamoring for the BCS again? I'm the same way. It's made a lot more sense than anything else since then.
Yeah. And you would hope with the selection committee, they do a top 25 vote, but they don't release it. At least with the AP, I post my ballot every week, so you can see how I voted and how my thought process went. The coaches poll, they only release the individual coaches poll, how they voted for the last one. So if we can get a little bit more transparency there, that would help. I think that could say, all right, well, we can have that human element of how things are picked, and then add in the computers, and then you can roll that out on Sundays. Because the coaches poll comes out 11 a.m. on Sunday, the AP poll comes out at noon. Probably early that afternoon, you could probably have all the computer stuff in, and then you could have your rankings every week. So, yeah.
It's wild, man. It's wild where we are with everything. I just don't know how much fans are going to take. I just don't know how much more people can be asked to continue to give more and more money because of the rising cost of doing business all over.
Yeah.
And yet these are the people that's going to have to pay more, or they get taken for granted. I don't know, man. I just don't know how it's going to end, but it doesn't feel like it's going to have a soft landing at all. It feels like it's going to be a major implosion.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's going to be around 2030 when all these contracts are coming up, and then you're looking at realignment, and who knows, honestly, with the way Congress is working these days, it might be around 2030 when we finally get some legislation passed regarding
I hope so.
Around TV or around how you treat athletes. Are they employees? Are they still or students? Hopefully we get some clarity by then. Because I'd like to blow this up and have regional leagues, no more than 10 teams. You play 9-game league schedule. You play everyone in your league. You get 3 decent non-conference games, tiebreakers. We haven't even talked about the new ACC schedule and how tiebreakers is going to be an absolute nightmare for next season, with 12 teams playing 9 games and 8 teams playing 5. And the ACC's welcome gift to James Franklin. Oh, you get to play at Clemson, Miami, and SMU in 1 year. Plus, we get a trip to Cal in there.
Yeah, what'd you think about that? The 9, now that we know for sure it's 9 games, the next focus is going to be, are they going to drop JMU? They have to drop one of those games now, right? One of those non-con.
Yeah, they have to. They're keeping Maryland because that would be your 10th Power 4 game. Doug Bowman from 247 kind of read between the leaves, and that SMU has an open date week 1. So you could drop VMI or move them if you want to.
Got to drop VMI. You can't drop JMU. That's going to be a nightmare if they do that.
Yeah, but again, James Franklin might say, hey, I need an FCS in here to...
Does nothing for him in game 1 to beat VMI 55-2.
No, that's why I think it's going to be an ACC game week 1. And can you play one of your 4 ACC home games week 1, or are you getting shipped to, like I said, SMU?
Is that a conference thing? They have to agree on that, or is it the schools that get together and say, "Hey, we'd like to do this"? And I guess
Jim
Phillips has to sign off.
Yeah, I think that's all being worked out. And I think Dave Smith with Gridiron, who helps with scheduling, is going to be making a boatload of money off the ACC for helping them reconfigure these schedules, especially the non-conference slate, because Virginia Tech's one of a few teams that has to drop a game now.
They're going to want James Franklin to look good in the game one. Going to SMU in the opening day may not be a great way to start your regime in Blacksburg. So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, I think ESPN wanted Belichick to look good in his opener, and TCU went out and boat raced them.
Yeah, but I mean, I just hope they don't drop James Madison. I really don't.
I don't know. I mean, he'd be more inclined to drop ODU so he doesn't have to play Ronnie.
Well, you would think maybe that would make more sense. I don't know why VMI is ever on the schedule now. I have so much respect for that place, but Tech and VMI should not be playing football here in the
Well, if you're going to have an FCS opponent, I'd rather it be VMI because it's right up the road. And
well, yeah, I mean, for you, travel. Yeah, you got it easy. Yeah. You got it easy.
I mean, you didn't play any FCS opponents, in 23 and 24. And I mean, the only reason I played Wofford this past year is because they had 2 SEC opponents back to back. So,
yeah. Well, we've got Matt Rode coming on, and we'll ask him directly about what he's hearing about that. I'm sure if there has been something like going on that way, we'll find out. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, I mean, find a way to. I don't know if you want to kick James Madison down the line and keep VMI, or you kick VMI off and put them later, and then a lot's going to happen here in the next.
Yeah,
because I think about a month from now we'll get what the ACC slate looks like, and hopefully before then we have some clarity on who Virginia Tech's keeping on the schedule. Because if you can say, oh, we're keeping James Madison for this date, we got ODU as well, and we got Maryland, then okay, week 1's now open, unless you decide to move James Madison to week 1 or ODU to week 1. And then you have some flexibility now with where you can put another ACC game. So it's really interesting.
Drop them all and play Wofford twice.
Okay, so with FCS games, only one counts toward countable wins. If you play 2 FCS opponents in the year, only one counts as a countable win toward bowl eligibility. So,
right.
And with Andrew, I'd rather play West Virginia.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Depending on how some of these future games look like the Wisconsin series isn't going anywhere because they did make the move to Charlotte for the 1 year. Does Alabama stay on the schedule? Does South Carolina stay on the schedule? And also, does James Franklin want to play West Virginia?
When are all those games, by the way? When is like the Alabama, South Carolina?
Alabama is mid-30s. South Carolina is like 32 and 37.
Hell, I'll be dead by then.
Yeah.
I don't care about who cares? That's 12 years away. Okay.
Right. Roanoke College at 10 a.m. All right.
Yeah. Like Roanoke. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if D3 games are allowed to be scheduled by FBS opponents.
Yeah, in football, I don't think they are, right? I don't think they are. Basketball, you see it all the time.
No, I don't think FBS teams are allowed to schedule non-scholarship teams.
Yeah, I think you're right. That they cut it off, don't they? It has to be FCS.
Yeah, and then like the Pioneer League, the non-scholarship FCS league, they don't play any FBS opponents because you're saying non-scholarship guys going up against scholarship rosters.
Yeah.
That would not end well. That is your safety issue, not James Madison playing.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Then it becomes, you're right. The physical discrepancy becomes a major problem.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff, brother. I'm looking forward to what you got out of Dennis Parker and your piece. And I hope we'll enjoy the games this weekend. I guess that's what we have. We'll see if we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good to see you yesterday, man.
Absolutely. And I'll see you again Sunday.
All right. Stay safe, man. Take care. That's right. You'll be sitting down there near me. That'll be good.
Down there on press row.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
All right. You too.
Damien Sordelett from the Roanoke Times. Yeah, so I'm walking around Devon yesterday. I pulled in from lunch. I'm like, that's Damien. What's he doing here? So I'm in the hallway and found I think you're going to see less and less in that, Matthew. The scheduling so far in advance. There'll be some games that are kind of structured. Networks are going to get more and more involved as they make more and more money. But yeah, don't you feel weird about that, by the way, when it's like 20, 30, you see a series, and I'm like, it's 10 years down the road. What do I care? Who knows what's going to be going on? All right, so let me, Creed is here. I'll explain, by the way, surgery happened this morning. This is the first time he's wanted to go out. Bear with me here. David Teel's coming up. Talks amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. Come on, buddy. All right. Thanks, gang. Thanks for understanding. Appreciate that. Yeah, I should have put intermission music on. All right. So surgery happened this morning. Yeah. So it was about 4 a.m. and he came up, started being aggressive, and I looked at his neck or his shoulder, and I was like, okay, he was telling me animals are smarter than we are. So wake up, I'd already shaved the area, and I won't go into the grisly details, but it has to get, when you have an abscess like that, if you've seen it, and we had to do it on our cattle growing up, and I had to do it on him about a year and a half ago. It's the other shoulder. So it got acute. It's hard at the end, So you just take my dad's trusty pocket knife, the sharpest thing I've ever owned in my life, and make a little incision. He, of course, raises holy hell. I had my gloves on, to his credit. He got ready you could tell he was like, he backed off, got it drained out as best I could, got the antibiotic in, and he took off. And this is the first time I've seen him. So I tried to get a look just now. So thank you. Thank you for bearing with me there. Been very worried about him. So, so we'll see how it goes today. I don't want the infection to come back. I don't know if I got it all out. Hey, Morris, good morning. Good morning. From the frozen tundra, which is Montgomery County, to the chilly beaches of Palm Coast. Morris needs an IT lift out from India to get online. BDST is live. Sorry to hear that, Morris. David Teel coming up in about 15 minutes, and then Matt Roan, and I'm looking forward to that conversation. I always do. But, boy, I can't wait to get the behind the scenes with Bob Chesney and with Billy Napier. We're going to get it today. That'll be fun. The trip to Oregon. Paul says, I'll be in a nursing home by then. Yeah, I don't want – people get all excited. They put these reports out. Virginia Tech's agreed to a series with whoever in 2038. Okay. Who knows who the coaches will be? Who knows what it's like, I don't care. I just don't care. Yeah, Michigan's loss, Tebow, is going to be the gain of a lot of people. I think a lot of those kids are going to be, actually, the whole class might be shopping. They still don't have a coach, by the way, right? Have I missed that? Tebow, they don't have a coach, do they? Michigan? They haven't named anybody, right? They're still just kind of hanging out. Is that right? So, of course, with all this speculation about Kalen DeBoer, it won't go away. I don't understand. Do you really think he's going to leave Alabama? That's what everybody seems to be saying. That they think, okay, well, if Alabama loses to Oklahoma on Friday, then DeBoer might be the guy. And I'm like, I don't think so. It doesn't feel right to me. Maybe it is. But they are just kind of chilling, aren't they? I think they thought they were going to get the kid at Arizona State, and that didn't happen. Or maybe he could still come. I don't know. It's a mess, though. It's an absolute mess. So, yeah, I think that whole class is going to be up for grabs. Yeah, Tech could pull a couple of those kids, sure. Look, they're going to go wherever the money is. And think about this, though. They had Big Ten money, so you're going to have to pay a little more for them. So Tech's got some money. Why not? Why not go get a couple of them? Positions of need, sure. I tell you what, Tech's going to have a good quarterback. I mean, there's been, 24 starting quarterbacks? Is that what I saw last night? 24 starting quarterbacks have gone to the trouble to let everybody know that they are going to the portal. So Tech's going to have a guy that either we recognize, right? I think. I'm sure the negotiations have been going on for a while. They're going to have a guy that we either recognize or we're going to find out was really, really good at his previous stop. That's what it feels like to me. You know, and I'm thinking that, and this is, you know, everything we've talked about this morning, this is a statement that you make that sounds ridiculous. But don't you think, if Tech's going to get one of those guys, it's going to take at least $3 million, right? Is $2 million enough? We don't know. We can only speculate. We don't know. How upset would Lane be if DeVore leaves? Yeah. He's always said that's where he wanted to finish. Alabama. Oh, Raiola? Yeah, the guy at Nebraska. Yeah, don't bring him in here. The guy who tries to act like Patrick Mahomes. That's weird, man. He does all the stuff that he does. It's weird. Yeah, I don't think Bama will fire DeBoer because then you have to pay a buyout on top of it. But I wonder. Again, we don't know people's personal choices. I kept telling you I didn't think Ricky Ronnie was going to go join James Franklin. It didn't make sense to me. I got a lot of pushback from a lot of people, especially on the text line. Why wouldn't you want to leave Old Dominion to go with his friend? Because this is his program. You're a head coach. They gave him a good raise to sign the extension. He has poured his heart and soul into getting ODU up to a certain level. That means a lot, right? That means a lot to a dude. So we don't know what Kalen DeBoer might be thinking, is my point. We don't know what guys' motivations are. Ricky Ronnie, turned out I was right about that. He likes what he's doing there. Because the people immediately said when Franklin showed up there, he was trying to recruit Ronnie. And maybe he was. Maybe he was. But I never felt like he's just going to up and leave something that he's worked so hard on. And, you know, obviously they came up here and made Virginia Tech look like a high school team. Now he's going to lose his quarterback. He's going to have to go out and find another quarterback. But you feel like now Old Dominion's got a little momentum going. All right? He's got a little momentum going. So I'm not surprised at all to see that he stayed. Not surprised at all. Yeah, the ODU quarterback makes sense. And maybe that's something that Ronnie, you know, could be honest about with Franklin, right? They're good friends. So, hey, James, why don't you come down? We know we're losing him. He went up there and just clearly was the best player on the field when we played at Lane Stadium. You're taking over in Blacksburg. Why don't you come down and get a look at him? Maybe, you know, that seems like that would be a good fit, doesn't it? And you wouldn't have to break the bank to pay him. I mean, I don't know. James Franklin's got his own model. That's the one position they struggled with at Penn State now. Let's be honest. They recruited some big-time stars. That's why the stars don't mean a damn thing. Everybody, oh, my God, look at all these. Who cares? You got to coach them. They've got to develop. And that was the one position that they never developed a major star or a player that lived up to his hype. So we don't know what kind of quarterback he might want in Blacksburg. But I think that would make sense, sure. He got to see him up close and personal. The kid's dazzling. What's he have, at least 2 more years of eligibility? Now you're going to have to retain him year after year. Yeah, that could happen, Tebow. I could see that. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I guess being familiar with Franklin and the offense is a good thing. Yeah, I could see that. Sure. I could see one of those guys coming to Blacksburg. 100%. But yeah, the ODU guy, I would think, sure, go for it. I love that kid. You did too, right? We were like, whoa. Whoa. And, you know, kudos to Ronnie. You know, as we talk about programs developing, guys develop as head coaches too. You know what I'm saying? That development is not limited just to players or coordinators who develop into head coaching candidates. Head coaches who take over spots for the first time develop into better coaches, better head coaches. And I think Ricky Ronnie feels like he could be on that trajectory, right? Of course it was going to be tough for a while at Old Dominion. You're throwing yourselves in there with the bigger boys, man. You got nothing. You're going to have to figure this out. So we'll see. We'll see. But you're going to have to get that position right. You're going to have to find your quarterback. And I'm sure that is more known and evident on that staff than anywhere else. Not making headlines by saying that. It's not like it's a sweeping notion, but you better get the quarterback correct. Better knock that out of the park. For year one especially. But I really hope they don't drop JMU. We know now a game's going away. It's official now with the 9-game schedule yesterday. 4 ACC home games, 5 on the road. No more speculation. We know that one of the non-cons are going to be dropped. Who will it be? I think it's going to be VMI or JMU. Let's hope it's not JMU. Right? But you have to re-recruit kids every year to stay in your program. You know, Damien talking about maybe one of the attractions of getting McKenzie here from Georgia Tech was his recruiting. And somebody, I don't know who it was, made a great point. I saw it in chat. Somebody said it in chat. And thank you, Andrew. Yeah, we told you October the 20th, James Franklin was going to be the new head football coach at Virginia Tech. I've been sending that to a lot of people who question it. Okay, well, what do you got to say now? Oh, you did, didn't you? Yes, I did. So, yeah, he watches sometimes. So, Big Ten guy, thank you. He gets cracked up being called Big Ten guy. October 20th. We had it before anybody. I don't care. And the only reason I bring it up is because people try to say that I didn't say that or I didn't post that. And then I go, well, here you go. And then I posted it again 2 weeks later, and I actually had it here on the program where I felt like, and I think I said at the time that negotiations had begun, and I got, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. So I put on the Facebook page, I put, remember this, ... So I actually put it up twice. The Big Ten guy is Big Ten guy's spot on. He gives you some good Good information. Thanks, Big Ten guy. It's all you. It's not me. I just pass it along. And by the way, I don't pass along 90% of the stuff that I hear, at least, because if I know it's where it's coming from and what it is, then I'll pass it along, because I'm not going to get into rumor mills and all this stuff. But that one I had pretty good vibe about. Yeah. And we told you about Rago yesterday. And we told you about, all these things. Well, many of these things, not all. Told you about Chesney. Yes, Todd is, I don't ask Todd those questions, Paul. That's his own business. Yes. There are a lot of programs who are talking to Todd. I do know that. I don't know what he's looking for. It's his last stop in all likelihood. And I'm just going to let him tell me, but yes, he is being pursued. And I don't know what that's going to look like. Tebow says Big Ten guy sounds like someone you'd get your stash from. Well, yeah, he's my information stash. The stuff with Franklin was easy because where he's at, that coach is also a Jimmy Sexton client. So that was pretty easy. That's funny. Hey, man, I got to go see Big Ten guy. Where's Big Ten guy? Matt Roan, the director of athletics at James Madison, joins us here in about 15 minutes or so. And boy, I can't wait to get the journey of the exodus of Bob Chesney and the entrance of Billy Napier and all things in between. Joining us now, he is the Hall of Famer, and I tell him all the time, but boy, I tell you what, David Teel, whenever you're on, I hear about it for several days, how much they enjoy everything you've done and everything you bring, man. So thank you. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you. Glad the listeners enjoy.
Oh, yeah. You're the best. You're the best. Well, man, where do you want to start? So much. So much, but yet nothing's really changed since the last time we talked. We got the playoffs starting up, but what else is going on?
No, got 4 first-round games starting Friday in Norman, Oklahoma, where, according to some, the Crimson Tide lose. Is Kalen DeBoer suddenly on the market in Ann Arbor? That's above my pay grade, and for others to decide. And then Friday in succession, we have Miami at Texas A&M, and then Tulane Ole Miss, and the aforementioned Mr. Roan's JMU Dukes in Eugene, Oregon. Go figure.
It's crazy, and it's great. Regardless of what happens, this journey, the back and forth between the two Twitter accounts, it's been so much fun to watch. Yeah. And the benefits of this for James Madison is just, you can't put a dollar sign on it, can you? This is just, it's really cool.
No, and Matt discussed that with us on a Zoom last week, Rick, where he said that really the benefits of this, both tangible and intangible, won't be known for years until admissions data and donations data can be aggregated and kind of assessed, and it will have long-term effects beyond athletics. And obviously that's a good thing for the folks in Harrisonburg, and that's why they elevated to the bowl subdivision in the first place, dreaming of something like this eventually. I don't know that anyone imagined it would happen this quickly, because it's never happened this quickly for anyone else, which is another remarkable aspect of this story. And for all of James Madison's accomplishments in the FCS, 2 national championships, countless playoff appearances, They did not move the needle like this. And you mentioned the Twitter account, and a shout out to my former sports writing colleague, Bennett Conlon, who's now an assistant sports editor at the Baltimore Sun. So clever what he and his partner have done this week. They've more than doubled their following on socials. And they had me on their podcast mid-season, I guess, and they're just a couple of JMU alums who like to get goofy. And if nothing else, what should social media be for?
100%. You talk about getting the assignment, boy, and understanding the assignment. Yeah. The one post they made about what's the big deal, man? Oregon's the slowest team I've ever seen because all their highlights. Oh my gosh, that was laugh out loud fun.
And then the Oregon folks responded with a sped up video of JMU saying, "What in the heck is going on here?"
Yeah, what's in the water in Harrisonburg? And they had them all. Oh, yeah, see, that's what it's all about. That's what it's supposed to be all about.
Well, and Rick, that's what college football is about. I mean, I know everybody's into the NFL, but please, there is no comparison in the fan bases. It's so different and such a different vibe. And yes, college football has become professionalized and will continue to move in that direction. But there is still something to be said about the pageantry and the fandom and the bands and the school songs and the back and forth and the trolling. It's great stuff.
I want to ask you too about, I think it had happened right when you were on last week, but Ricky Ronnie speaking of JMU and now Old Dominion, a lot of people were speculating he was going to come to Blacksburg. I never really felt that way because he's building something. He's got to just take a lot of pride in what the steps that they have taken and the development that they've had. I don't want to get your thoughts on that. And I don't know. I know the resources are different, but do you see eventually Old Dominion continuing on their trajectory? I know they have a quarterback's got to be changed. They're going to lose players every year, but how do you see Ricky Ronnie's program now, and how can it be similar to JMU, if at all?
Old Dominion's the bar it is trying to reach is James Madison, and it's been that way since the Monarchs joined FBS, and then James Madison came along behind them. And I think there's some envy in Norfolk. They look toward Harrisonburg and say, how did they do it so quickly when we've been kind of treading water? And Old Dominion went to Harrisonburg this season, and for a half, it was a heck of a football game. Yeah. I was there. And then the Dukes just put their foot on the gas, and it was over. And Ricky Ronnie was dismayed after the game because he said his team lacked conviction. Rick, they haven't lost since.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, they have been a wagon ever since. They're 5-0. They're 9-3, headed to their bowl game later this afternoon down in Boca against a very good South Florida team, which is also without its quarterback.
Right.
Byron Brown has opted out. He'll be on the sidelines. He's helping coach the Bulls quarterbacks. And Colton Joseph, as you alluded to, has indicated that he will enter the portal, and that doesn't surprise anyone who watched him play.
Yeah.
He's very gifted, and that's kind of the lot in life for a group of 5 programs. But this is, without question, I know the 2016 Old Dominion team went 10-3 and won its bowl over Eastern Michigan. But when you look at the rosters, when you look at the schedule that the two teams played, this is without a doubt the best Old Dominion team since the program elevated to the FBS back in the mid-teens.
The 9-game schedule is official now in the ACC. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. And now Tech and other schools are going to have to drop one of these non-cons. I certainly hope it's not the JMU game in Blacksburg, but we'll see.
I think you're going to be disappointed, Rick.
You think so?
I do.
That's hard to hear. I hate that.
Yeah. Well, the Maryland game's not going to get dropped because everybody's obligated to play at least 10 Power Fours.
Right.
And that's Tech's Power Four non-conference game. So you tack that on to the 9 league games, there's your 10. So they'll be headed to College Park next season. But then it becomes, is it VMI, Old Dominion, or James Madison? And my sense is it's going to be James Madison. Now, what I don't know is whether the game will be canceled or postponed, put back a season or two. Don't have a sense for that yet. But I think the folks in Harrisonburg are kind of expecting it. We've known the 9-game season is coming, and we knew that not everyone would play 9 games in 2026. Now, every year moving forward, one team will not play 9 just because of the math. Because when you have an odd number of teams, you cannot play an odd number of conference games and have it come out even. Just trust me on this.
Yes, I will. You got the math on that.
Some people like to argue with me on social, and I'm like, just trust me. You can't play, say, 65 and a half conference games. It doesn't work out in total for your inventory. So every year on a rotation basis, there will be one ACC team that does not play 9. Now, this season, there will be 5 teams that don't play 9, that play just 8. And they will play in turn at least two non-conference against the Power Four. Georgia Tech, bless their hearts, they are playing 8 ACC games next year. And they are playing in the non-conference, Colorado, Tennessee, and Georgia.
Wow.
That's a gauntlet.
That's a gauntlet.
That's 11 P4s out of your 12 regular season. Now, for the Hokies, the only real change, because what they did is they used the 2024 through 30 rotation that they announced 2 years ago. That was the foundation for next season's schedule. So none of those 8 opponents except one changed for Virginia Tech. So what they did was they subbed out NC State, and instead Tech will get a visit from Stanford. And then the Hokies' 9th conference game will be at SMU.
Okay.
So they will play 5 on the road, 4 at home.
And the choice of JMU, is that just because of it's JMU and because of the difficulty of the schedule? They just didn't want them there. That's the only reason he'd get rid of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be a bad look. That's going to be a PR hit to the first year for James Franklin. I mean, it just is.
Well, I think this was in the works before James Franklin got hired. This is not James Franklin saying,
right,
play James Madison.
Right. But it's going to coincide, right? It's like, oh, we open up with VMI. Yay.
VMI, where Danny Rocco just resigned last night, and from all reports, will join James Franklin's staff in some role, which he had in 2022 at Penn State. And where, by the way, his son David is going to be the assistant tight ends coach for James Franklin in Blacksburg.
Well, there you go. Father-son reunion. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
What is VMI going to do now for a coach? I know it's early. Who do you think they might turn to? Somebody internally? Or
I really don't know. I mean, obviously, real struggles the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But gosh, 3 years ago, they were 5-6 and 4-4 in the SoCon.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a great year in Lexington, and props to Danny Rocco for getting that done. And gosh, he's won at Richmond, he's won at Liberty, he's won at Delaware. He is an established head coach, and I think he will bring a sage presence to Franklin's staff at Tech.
What's your prognosis for Chandler Morris getting another year in Charlottesville? I saw that reported last week. Is that still on the docket? Does he want to come back for that one more year?
I think he'd like to, and obviously they'd like to have him back. How they can finagle that with the NCAA is another matter. They're going to need an answer pretty quickly because that answer will inform how Virginia proceeds in the portal.
Right.
What one would think. If Chandler Morris is going to be back, then the Cavaliers don't necessarily need to go shopping. If he's not, I believe they will go shopping. Obviously the Nebraska transfer played in Morris's stead this season, but I don't know that they are comfortable just standing pat in the quarterback room if Morris is gone.
Yeah, you're right, because UVA's got to go about their business now. They got to start looking. They were so adept at the portal last year. They know how to do it, so they got to get back in there. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, I think they see promise in Danny Kaelin, but I'm not sure they're comfortable just turning the keys over to him either.
Are you as concerned? I get this all the time. I still think, I know they didn't get it done in the championship game, but I think what went on down there and the way everything was salvaged this year, however they went about it, whatever with the portal, I know, and they're going to lose a lot of kids. But
they are.
Do you feel like they're panicking at all? They've done this one time already. I think they now have resources. I think they have to feel pretty confident that they can evaluate pretty well out of the portal.
Rick, you use the exact proper word, evaluate. That is where Virginia excelled in the portal. Now, did they have resources? 100%. You can't survive these days without some semblance of resources, and Cavaliers spent. And they have a wealthy donor base that was willing to ante up. Will they ante up long term? I think after seeing the return on investment this season, I think in the short term, the answer is probably yes. But what I think gets lost in this is two things. Number one, the general manager, Tyler Jones, and the rest of the staff evaluated portal candidates quite effectively. And number two, Tony Elliott and his coaching staff did a marvelous job of bringing all these disparate parts together and melding them into a team. That is more challenging than perhaps any of us realize, is to take 50, 60, in some cases 70 new players. And this will be James Franklin's task at Virginia Tech in year one. You're going to have a completely flipped roster. And yeah, you may bring in a bunch of kids who were 4 and 5 stars in high school and maybe are accomplished at the college level. But how, in very short order, do you blend them into a cohesive team where egos are set aside and the collective is more important than the individual? That's difficult.
Very. As Bill Belichick found out, he had to turn it over the same way. He got criticized. I'm like, of course there's going to be that much turnover. It makes perfect sense. And it didn't work out so well for him. He got a tough education, didn't he, as a college head coach? He did.
He did. And not only at Carolina did they fail to blend it into a team, they evaluated very poorly.
That's right. That's right. They did. They did. What was your reaction? I thought about you a lot Saturday watching Army-Navy. I loved every second of it. It was a great game.
It was a wild game. I was riveted. Full disclosure, we were late for a family Christmas party because I told my wife I ain't leaving.
I love it.
Sorry, I said, y'all go ahead and I'll meet you there if you prefer, but not leaving until this gets settled. And it was not settled until the last snap. And those two fumbles that Navy somehow fell on, well, one was not a fumble. Well, it was a fumble. And then Blake Horvath catches it in midair. And then the one where Eli Heidenreich jumps on it down near the goal line. Just remarkable bounces of the ball that if they go the other way, Army wins. And just great. And again, full disclosure, Michael Kelly, the athletic director at Navy, first year there, he's from that area. His dad is a Naval Academy grad. I've known Michael forever since his time at the ACC, and I was really happy for him.
That's great. It's great. I mean, got more emotional than I thought. The anthem before the game gets to you in a different way, and then after when they're singing the song, I tell you,
it's that one. It's not necessarily the anthem for me, Rick, because they play the anthem before every sporting event. Okay, I get it. But afterward, when those cadets and those midshipmen with their helmets tucked under their arm, and they go, and the object is to sing second.
You don't want to sing first, right?
You don't want to sing first. But the Navy guys, they all walk over in front of the Corps of Cadets, and they listen to the Army hymn, and then they marched over to the brigade where they heard Navy Blue and Gold. And that's the tearjerker, at least for me.
No, it is. And the Army kids did the same thing. As dejected as they are, helmet sitting there doing, that's special. That's special. But, well, as are you, my friend. We appreciate everything as always. We won't have a show next Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, so I hope you and your family have a great holiday, my friend.
Same to you and yours, Rick.
All right, brother.
And to all your viewers.
Yeah, thanks, man. Stay safe, man.
All right, you too.
There you go. That's the great David Teel joining us on the program. Great stuff. Want to thank all of our sponsors, by the way. We want to thank Family Fencing for sponsoring our studio, Mark Hullen and McClellan Chiropractic for our chat room. Thanks to all of them. Thanks to the presenting sponsor of this program, Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment, Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. The attorney Ryan Pry with our BDST fan question of the week. I want to thank National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of this program. Thanks to Travis Williams and everybody at Professional Door Incorporated, best in the business at garage doors up in Dublin, right across from New River Community College. Thanks to Bob Christ and the Ready Set Fund. Thanks to everybody over Brandon at Top Shelf. Thanks to Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, Harvey's GM, and, of course, the NRV Super Bowl. And joining us now on the program as we segue out of one to the next. Can he not hear me? Can you not hear me at all? He just sent me a text. Let me see here. Let's put him up here, and I might have to send him one. Can you hear me now? No? Okay. Let me send – yeah, I'm going to send another. Let me send another one here. All right, let me send him another one here. Let me try. This happened yesterday with Burnup for a while, and it happened right after an exit too. So I'm going to send let me send another one. I'm going to send another link. Hang on here. Some technical issues. Sending a fresh link. There we go. It had something to do yesterday, right? When remember when Marty went off? When Marty went off, and when Marty Smith went off, and we lost that for a second. It's something I got to look at here. Let's try now. You got me now?
I got you now.
There he is. There he is.
I could hear you right at the very end.
Good.
David thing, but I for some reason I lost you there for a second.
What's going on, brother? How are you, man?
I'm busy.
Hey, have you been doing anything? What have you been sleeping a lot?
It's been pretty boring around here, but no, all kidding aside, we a lot of preparations, a lot of planning, and the planes take off tomorrow for Eugene, and exciting times in Harrisonburg right now.
Well, first of all, brother, congratulations.
I appreciate it.
You've earned it. Everybody down there, you've talked about the team effort. I always think back what you told us, Amik, the first time you're on the new program. Everybody down there has got the same goal. It's so refreshing. And then none of you sit back and go, well, we've reached a certain level. We're going to get lazy now. Everybody understands, okay, this is great, but how do we keep going? And that has shown, especially with this 2025 season.
Yeah, we always say the standard is the standard, right? We're chasing excellence all the time. And, the fact is that the 2025 team has been pretty special. We've got great coaches. We've got great players. We're buoyed and bolstered by phenomenal support staff and fans and, you name it, right? Everybody pulling the rope in the same direction. But the work's already started on the program, right, beyond 2025 and 26 and so on and so forth. And we talked a lot last week in introducing Coach Napier about, the true mark of success of a program is not getting to the CFP once, but It's how do we get back there a second time and a third time, right? And that work has commenced, and we're going to see what we got ahead of us on Saturday night, and hopefully New Year's Day down in Miami against a really good Texas Tech team. But we'll have our hands full on Saturday with a great opponent.
Well, we'll get into Oregon and we'll get into all that, but we've had so many people. They always look forward to you, by the way, but they've all wanted to hear now. Let's go back a little bit in time. Of course, when you were on last month, kind of had some insight. I knew what was going on with Bob Chesney a little bit, but, obviously you're not in a position to talk about it. That had been going on a while for UCLA, and you had handled it so well. Can you take us through that process? I know he was contacted pretty early, but the way he stayed focused and the understanding that you have to have as the athletic director, can you take us through all those dynamics? And of course, now he's, going to be after Saturday and hopefully beyond. If you're still playing, whenever the season ends, he'll be the new head coach in Westwood.
Yeah. We'll have some time here to talk about this one, right? But I go back to the day that UCLA decided to move on from Deshaun Foster, their previous coach. As I understand it, they reached out same day. Whether it was to him, whether it was to representation, contact was made pretty quickly, and he let me know same day. And again, I think that just speaks volumes to the relationship that we have, the trust. Nothing but positive things to say about Bob Chesney throughout this entire process. And as other opportunities presented themselves, he would continue to let me know. But I felt like over 2.5 months nearly, that UCLA, the momentum seemed to be kind of increasing on that one along the way. I think, Rick, maybe when I sat with you last time, it seemed almost like a foregone conclusion, but I wasn't ready to throw in the towel just yet, right?
I know.
One of the things that we were able to do was to, make him an offer to put him at the top of our league, to put his assistant coaches and support staff at the top of our league, but most importantly is to put that rev share number for us at the top of our league. And so I always kind of went through that process saying that we're investing in positions in the program more than we are any one person, because the financial package that we were able to put together was either going to be for him or whoever would sit in that chair as head coach. And as the season really started to come to a close, you just felt like the confidence that you had that he was going to be moving on, as I shared with candidates, became near certainty. And so, I would say with probably 3 or 4 weeks left in the year, we start vetting candidates, working with a search firm, doing the background checks, doing social media checks, reading articles, right? Is there anything that we're missing on these different people? And through that, obviously, you're doing your own research. You're kind of dwindling that list, and things start to come into focus. And obviously what came into focus was when Florida decided to move on from Billy back in October. He's somebody that I've known of. I won't say that I've known for 20 years, but I've known of for about 20 years. I've seen him have tremendous success at Clemson, to be invited to be on Nick Saban's staff at Alabama twice, to be at Colorado State, to be at Arizona State. And then ultimately the 4-year run that he had at Louisiana mirrors the 4-year run that JMU has had as a member of the FBS. Yeah. And you look at a lot of those similarities there. And I would even say some of the things that he did at Florida were very successful. Now, he'll tell you not all the things that he did at Florida were very successful. I think there's reasons for that. But I just think that it was the right time and the right place for Billy Napier to assume the position of head coach at JMU on this trajectory that we're on.
He is the director of athletics at James Madison University. Matt Roan joining us on the program. And the trust, you've talked about the relationship you had immediately. You guys came in together, you and Coach Chesney, and you felt like that relationship got off to a great start, and it's just developed. How has it gone with the players, knowing the situation, right, and knowing what's going on? How has that been handled? And you have to have a lot of respect, because you haven't heard any upheaval. That shot, you're not going to see it anywhere else, man. And I was going to send you a text, but it was so great. How often do you see an outgoing coach welcoming in the new coach?
Yeah.
And you're sitting there embracing and just saying, this is your program. This is our program. How are the players responding to all this trend? That's an amazing thing to see.
Really they've been phenomenal. And again, I go back to, the week leading up to the championship game, coming out of that regular season finale at Coastal, which I guess was the last time that I had the chance to join you. It really was at the end of a practice where, hey, we've tried to keep this thing contained. the lid's about to blow, right? And Monday it leaked out that he was expected to be the next head coach at UCLA, which again allowed us to, in pretty short order, get on planes at that point of our process, get on planes, go see a couple people and try to lock things down. And I think it was 72 hours later, it was leaked that Billy was expected to be the next head coach here. And obviously we tied things up at both places on Saturday, but they've been happy for him. And I think, one of the things that we talked about a lot, and I think that we've all, the three of us have really tried to continue to remind ourselves is, right now is about the 2025 team. And, Bob didn't talk until that last week of the championship game. Nothing really was discussed with the team about UCLA. Obviously, when it was leaked, you have to address it, but their response was one of encouragement, excitement for him. Players probably understand better than anybody that teams right now are 1 year at a time. Right. The 2025 version is the 2025 version, and head coaches will come and go, assistant coaches will come and go, players will come and go. But people will replace, people will continue to move on. And if the standard is truly the standard, right, success will continue to occur. But they've been incredibly positive. He has done an admirable job of, again, not dealing with anything at any other place until we got through that Friday night championship game. And then we watched that ACC championship game with a lot of interest. And then Sunday, obviously, is that selection show. At that point, he allowed himself to really have 2 or 3 days where, he had to go out and do all the things that he needed to do in LA, and then came back on a late night flight on Wednesday. Since that time, since he's been back last Thursday, which is longer than a usual game week preparation, it's been nothing but about JMU. Right. And the great thing for us was we were able to introduce Billy here last Wednesday, and then there's 2 practices on Thursday, Friday. They're able to interact and kind of, socialize with one another. And I think there's a lot that each can learn from one another, right? Billy doesn't want to be disruptive to the 2025 team. He does want to set up the program for success. Yeah. There's a lot of things that Bob can tell him. There's a lot of things that Billy can tell Bob, coming from the SEC of, hey, this is what you're going to have to deal with, and this is what you should expect in the Big Ten. And so I've used this phrase 100 times probably, but we can be the adults in the room. It's probably a little bit different, and I'm going to be very candid. It's probably a little bit different if Bob is leaving us for App State or Virginia Tech. But the fact that it's UCLA and it's across the country, I think it's made that transition that much more seamless as well.
Well, and kudos to you. I mean, you worked so fast, and I know you're a football guy. I mean, and you understood the process, and to get that done and turned around as quickly. And I know you had other candidates you liked a lot, but what was it about Coach Napier? What was it about Billy that really stood out to you when you had those discussions, knowing his track record as a coach? But what was it about that interaction between you and him?
Oh, well, first off, I think he's about the right things. He's the son of a high school football coach. When he speaks about his dad, it reminds me very much of myself and kind of the reverence that I have for my old man. So I think he's about the right things. His brothers are high school football coaches. That's what he thought he was going to be. But then Tommy Bowden took an interest in him and said, hey, no, you need to become a college football coach. And that kind of set up his career trajectory himself. But relentless recruiter, enjoys that piece of the job. There's no doubt about it. I think he is, as I've heard time and time and time again, he's an unbelievable identifier of talent. He is able to recruit and attract and retain that talent. He's obviously a developer, but in a one portal world now, it's really important that you don't miss. It's not like you have that spring window that, hey, we brought you in January, you weren't what we thought you were going to be, and so all of a sudden we're going to move on. When you get them here in January, that's your team that you're rolling with that upcoming fall. Unbelievable recruiter, can build a staff. I think understands what the modern football kind of organization needs to look like. And if you've seen a lot of our kind of early leaks of hires and some of the names, it's really building out that personnel department for us, that scouting department for us, and what that looks like. That's probably the biggest change that we have to make going from, FCS, FBS transition, 2 years of full FBS to now, how do we become CFP relevant every single year? It's that scouting in that personnel area. And so we've invested some personnel there. There's an unbelievable chip on the shoulder. I think we're getting, and he told the team this, right? He told our fans this last week in the press conference, we're getting the most motivated Billy Napier that there ever has been. And again, I think that's dangerous. I'm hoping that's dangerous.
Right.
But I just think he has all the traits, characteristics, experiences that we were looking for to continue to elevate the program, right? The status quo is not acceptable. How do we continue to elevate the program? I think he can do that for us.
Yeah, and the fact that he was at that level, he went to the SEC, the holy grail of all levels, if you will, and yet he comes back, like you said, huge chip on his shoulder. He knows he's been there, knows what it takes to be successful, to continue your trajectory. I mean, it seems like a perfect fit. It really does.
No, we're excited about it, and I will say, 7-8 days, him being on campus, right? He showed up last Wednesday morning with his family. We introduced him to campus on Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, I think he was up at 5 a.m., working till 1 a.m. Family left on Friday, and he's been here every day. Every single day we're bringing in candidates to interview. They're building the tapes. They're going to start identifying people pretty soon because that portal window opens up on January 2nd. So again, this time period has allowed him and Bob to know, who might be going, who might be staying from our roster, and then what pieces you have to get to complement what's in place here already. But we're really, really excited about it. He is as advertised. Watch him and interact with our staff. Great coach, great fit.
People have been asking in chat, when you're going through that, the process of this, and it's your first football hire there anyway at JMU, how much input do you have toward the new coach? Like, and I don't mean like in the hire, but do you talk to him about the way he wants to do things and set things up, or you just turn that over to him, listen to what he has to say, and you guys share ideas? How does that work?
I think it's a little bit more of an exchange. Full disclosure, right? One of the things that I think a lot of people, and maybe that's why they're asking the questions of you, it's, what is he going to do on the offensive side of the ball? That was a question that I was probably going to ask. He beat me to the punch before I could even ask it, where he said the game has changed so much, right? With analytics, obviously the time that he has to spend day to day in recruiting and, building that culture, sustaining that culture. You don't have as much time as you want to be the play caller. So that was the very first thing that he said was, I've learned a lesson at Florida, and I have to hand off play calling duties to an offensive coordinator. And so you check that question off, right? Then you start to find out a little bit more about, hey, who is that person? My style is very much, I recommend and I'll make suggestions, but I never require, right? We hire head coaches for a reason, and you hire head coaches to build out the staff that they think gives them the best chance to be successful, recruit the kids that they think give them the best chance to be successful. So a lot of those conversations with us are, it's an exchange of ideas. There's no mandates. It's hearing what he thinks that structure should look like. It's talking about scheduling. It's talking about off-season programs. It's talking about, academic plans. And, you go back to the question that you asked just a moment ago of what was it that he had? We had interviewed, FCS sitting head coaches. We interviewed Group of 5 sitting head coaches. We interviewed coordinators at the P4 level. We interviewed somebody that was in Billy's situation. One thing that I'll say about Billy is it was not a matter of when he asked to answer a question, well, I think I'll do this. This is what we'll do because this is tried and true. And he picked that up from Dabo Swinney. He picked that up from Nick Saban. He applied it on a different scale at Louisiana, and I think we're somewhere between Louisiana and Florida. So he'll adapt it and tweak it a little bit, but I think it'll have a lot of transferable traits about it.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. A guy who's learning as he goes. John Wooden said that, right? Somebody asked him, he won 10 titles in 12 years, at UCLA, and he said, it comes back to UCLA. Sorry.
Yeah.
He said, when was the last time you learned something about basketball, coach? And he looked at his watch. He goes, about an hour ago at practice.
Yeah.
Right? You never stop learning, and it sounds
Yeah.
like Billy Napier's just taking that as he goes through. It's pretty cool, man.
He's a football junkie. That's for sure. Yeah.
All right, well, take us through the first team in the Commonwealth to head to the college football playoff. What's it like getting on the plane, the excitement, Autzen, the Oregon Ducks? We know what they bring to the table, but let's talk about this game for a little bit and your preparations. You guys get ready to head out to Eugene.
Yeah, I will say the excitement hasn't really been there yet, right? It probably hasn't hit us until we get on that plane because you do get lost in the work. Again, watching that ACC championship game on that Saturday night, and I've joked, of course, they made us wait till an 8 p.m. kickoff that night. And of course, that game had to go into overtime. But really, we're on the phones probably at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, either me and Bob, me and our assistant AD for football administration. We're talking to our director of football operations to figure out, one, what does a watch party look like? From that watch party, hey, if it goes the way that we think this is about to go, right, and all the analytics suggest it was 99.9%, you still don't believe it until your name and logo goes up on that screen.
I know. I was so nervous for you. I was like, I know what should happen, but I don't trust it, right?
Well, you saw the team meeting, right? The videos of people throwing streamers. I think that was relief. That was raw emotion coming out, spewing out. But, there's been a lot of preparations and planning, right? You're spending Sunday on calls with the CFP, and I will compliment the CFP in terms of its organization, how thorough, how advanced it is in terms of planning and preparation. But a lot of people have been running around like crazy. But the first things that we have to do are get planes for the team, right? Get planes for the band, put our administration on there, put our board on there, put our, working staff, put, people who support this program on all those planes. So we're moving a lot of people out to Eugene. We're tweaking kind of how we operate a little bit instead of going out the day before because it's 3 time zones away. We're going out tomorrow so that people can go to bed late tomorrow night. And then obviously, hopefully our bodies are adjusted. We're not coming back straight after the game because it's a red eye with that late kick. Instead, we'll stay on Saturday night after the game and then fly back on Sunday, hopefully again, preparing for January 1. But a lot of my time has just been kind of supporting our, our team, make that trip. But now the excitement and the reality is starting to set in. It's been pretty cool the last 10 or so days, seeing the ESPN commercials, every halftime show of every game talks about the CFP and the matchup. And look, the reality is Rick, you're right. We're facing a really good team. There's a reason they're the number 5 seed. There's a reason that they have one loss this season that's at home to Indiana, who, by the way, have a lot of JMU players and a lot of JMU influence on that team. And our kids see that, but we're a proud program, and our kids, I think, have incredible confidence, and we're going to go and we're going to put it on the line and see how well we can play and hopefully shock the world.
Well, we're getting on the Professional Door Incorporated text line. I'm getting a ton of everybody's just saying, tell Matt, congratulations. Go, Matt. Go, Dukes. I'm getting all this Dukes. It's really cool. It's really cool. I wanted to pass that along. But
I appreciate it.
Cool. I appreciate it. So everything in hand now with the game. It's going to be awesome. National display. People finally get to see this program, and it's going to continue to be. What's been the reaction? I know it's been terrific. The response from your boosters, your fans, people have to just be going crazy down there right now.
Yeah, I think our fans have been great, even leading up to this. Right, as again I told you, the investments that we were able to make in the program at the midpoint of the season, and that time we're 6-1, 7-1. We asked them to answer the bell to continue to sustain the success of the program, and they've done that. The cool thing for us has been, and I kind of liken it to, it's probably not just getting into the NCAA tournament. I think being in the 12-team CFP it's like making a Final Four. I think the comparisons are Mason making their run, VCU making multiple runs. We're seeing our server almost operating at a crawl. Right, people are hitting up jmu.edu. We're seeing people. We track the analytics of who goes into Google and types James Madison or James Madison University. It is spiked like you can't believe. People are staying on our website. I think the average time is 19 seconds. it's now over a minute that people are coming and they're kind of going around. And so people are looking. We hope it's prospective students. We hope it's really talented prospective students. And I hope that it's student athletes as well.
Yeah.
But then we're seeing, not just our donors in athletics and our fans be excited, but I think, there's a tremendous pride in alums that never played a down here or were not student athletes, just very proud of their alma mater. And the fact that we get to be among that 12-team field, our logo, our colors are representing that, to be the first one in the state, right? I mean, we've put up billboards in the city of Richmond reminding everybody that we're the first team from the Commonwealth to accomplish this. And,
right.
I know there's people who say, hey, maybe we don't deserve, but we were one of the 5 highest ranked conference champions, point blank, period. We've played our way into this field and we deserve it.
Right. And no one will ever be able to take that moniker away from James Madison football, the first ever school from the Commonwealth to play in the college playoff.
How about that?
Yeah. Try to fight that, somebody. That's factual history. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. All right. So some things that are, some not such good news. David Teel just basically confirmed it, if you will. It looks like Tech's going to probably end up dropping the game next year with JMU. I don't know how much you can talk about that. I know it has to be disappointing, but do you see that something that if that does indeed happen, that the series will be continued, or is this just going to end things?
Yeah, I will say, Whit has been great. We've had conversations over the last several weeks, and I think those discussions are still ongoing, kind of figuring out what works for them, what works for us. And I would imagine, Rick, that we'll probably have some details to share in the not too distant future about that. But I think it's certainly something that we're interested in, not just straight out canceling if necessary, but delaying and postponing and pushing back. Hopefully, I know it's important to our fans. I think it would be important to their fans, to again have a team coming in that is in the 2025 CFP, right? It's a big time non-conference opponent. So I think we'll continue to work through those details. We'll continue those conversations and hopefully finalize things in the not too distant future.
Yeah, it's a good answer. Yeah, it is. From just the other perspective, it's very disappointing. It is. It's disappointing. And I got to ask you, because I've had, I don't know how many, you got to ask Matt about the snowball fight. And you on the mic, you just showed up everywhere the way you handled that, man. It was awesome.
I did not expect to go viral that night when I woke up that morning. But no, it was just one of those things, right? I noticed in the pregame, right? If you look at where Troy was warming up, it's on that north end of our field, right in front of our student section. And there was some snow still left in the stadium. Obviously, we had the snow come in overnight, the night before the championship game. We had probably 200 plus people out there shoveling it out. We just couldn't get it all right by the time a 7:00 kick rolled around and gates opened. But in warm-ups, you saw some snowballs coming out of the seats and you thought, this might not be good. And our protocol is to make PAs, and I've joked since that every time we made a PA, it was not a prohibition, it was an invitation. When you say please don't throw snow, that's an invitation to throw more snowballs.
That's a great point.
We had got to the point where there was a play. I think everybody saw it, right? A punt in that end zone. Punter, I think, was maybe, I won't say for sure, but impacted by a snowball or 2 or 3 or 10. And he shanked it. And as you might imagine, Troy kind of lost their minds with that. And so our league office said, hey, you got to do something. And our team said, hey, maybe if you get on the mic and address the students face to face, that could help. And I started off calm, and then the dad voice came out more and more because they were booing me and they kept throwing snow at me at that time. But yeah, it took on a life of its own. But I think it helped alleviate the problem somewhat. But look, they were excited. It was a Friday night. I get it. I remember being in college, and sometimes throwing a snowball on a football field is a lot of fun. But thankfully, it didn't cost us a flag, and we became champions a couple hours later.
Absolutely. Well, they may have been mad at Dad, but they listened to Dad. It stopped pretty quickly after that. My kids all said, we've heard that before. Well, man, listen, congratulations. Thanks so much for taking us inside of it, man. It's so educational and so enlightening, I know, for our viewers. And I know you sent me a text, go Duke. After, it was just like, go
That's
Duke
right.
for the Dukes. And then sure enough, it all happened. And I thought about you. And I think I sent you a text right after the game because I knew you had to just be like in that overtime of the
Oh, my
ACC
gosh.
title game, like, ah.
Yeah, I said that game, right, was one where, Duke scores first, Virginia matches them. Duke gets another score, go into half leading. And then really, I thought controlled the game, controlled the game for 58 minutes. So you kind of feel this crescendo happening. And then they had those second and third down plays that stopped the clock on the Duke's last drive. They kick it to UVA. They've got, 90-some yards to go. We're okay. We're going to play a little prevent defense. We're going to keep everything in front of us. Boom. They go down and score, and I thought, oh, no, this is the way this thing is going to – I thought my screen lost there. I thought this is the way this thing's going to end. And, luckily Duke had a lot of fight left in them, scored on that first drive of overtime, stopped UVA on that first play, the trick play, and the rest is history.
One more question, and I know I've had people ask, I didn't want to leave this out. So when did you find out for sure you were in after that with the college football playoff? Did you get a pretty quick response, or do you have to wait and wait?
We're watching the show just like everybody else.
So you didn't know until the show.
No.
Okay.
There are no leaks, right? Having gone through the mock selection exercise with the CFP back in September, October of this year, ESPN's pretty much finding out when the world finds out, right? They're seeing the screen, they're seeing how that package and stuff has been uploaded. So yeah, there's no tip, there's no heads up. So, I'm sitting there. I was relieved when I saw Miami had jumped Notre Dame. I thought, good, there is an ACC team in the field. So that gave me a little bit more confidence. And we're kind of sitting in there. We're making guesses like, hey, are they going to announce 6, 7, 8? Are they going to do 11, 12? Then come back because of the debate of 9, 10? Like, how is this field going to be unveiled? And lo and behold, they saved 12 for last. And, they kept telling us you'll probably know about 12:20. I think we found out at 12:31, about 11 minutes after they started actually showing the bracket.
Well, good things happen to those who wait, and it happened to you guys. So,
I suppose.
Well, listen, brother, we're all pulling for you. Have safe travels. Can't wait to get back and hear all the experience. And who knows, you get that dub, keep this thing going, like you said, into 2026. Why not?
That's the plan. That's the plan. And if anybody can do it, I do believe in this group. There's something in the water, right? I guess something in the Gatorade, maybe a better way to say it up here. But, no, they're it's a resilient bunch. It's a motivated bunch. It's a confident bunch. And if anybody can go on the road and win at Oregon, it's us. Why not us?
Well, and I know you'll never do it because of who you are, but I know JMU was on a trajectory and things were looking so great and you had a great predecessor, but you have been the ideal fit to continue this journey. And without you there, they would not be where they are. I know you'll never think that, but I'm just telling you that because people understand how important you've been to this. So congratulations, man, for everything. And thanks for the insight. People will be talking about this all week. I guarantee.
I appreciate it. It's always good to be with you. Tell everybody to tune in. I'll 7:30 on Saturday night. A guy from Pulaski County is going to be with JMU in a CFP. How about that?
Oh, it's great, man. Coach Hicks he's trying to coach him right now, right? He's
we'll come out with a little crisscross first play.
Please do. That would be great.
That might surprise everybody. Yeah.
All right, man. Safe journeys, and we'll talk again soon.
I appreciate it. Always good to be with you.
All right, there you go. Matt Roan, great stuff, man, from the my mouse died here. There we go. From the James Madison Director of Athletics. How great was that? You talk about some insight. Now, you don't get that. Congratulations, everybody sending. Thanks for all the texts. Great stuff. That takes you through the whole process. We just learned. How much did we just learn? That was great. That's awesome. So now we kind of know exactly how this thing goes. And it was very curious to hear, how they did not know until they see it on screen. That's pretty cool. I'd always wondered if that was real in football. And I know in basketball, it kind of comes across that way, but I didn't know if it had changed with the football selection committee and all that. So that was pretty cool. Very, very cool. So thanks to Matt for being on with it. That was great. And congratulations to him. He's terrific. He's going to be a Power 4 AD if he wants to be one, right? I just want them to enjoy the journey, this whole thing. They've earned it all. They've earned it every bit. Like you said, they played their way into this thing. And go get the Ducks, man. Why not? Why not? Great stuff. Thanks to everybody in chat as always. Please subscribe, like, and share. I mean, I don't know where you're getting content like this. I'm not saying it's for me, but where you're going to have, guys like David Teel and Matt Roan back to back, where you're going to have Marty Smith, Steve Ragsdale, where you're going to have, Roland Lazenby, who'll be on the show on Friday. Where are you going to have these people, right? It's because of the guests and it's because of you. Thanks for the support. Hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday. We learned a lot, and we're going to dive headfirst into this whole decision about Tech. It looks like it's going to happen. Going to get rid of James Madison. Not a good look. Not a good look. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your Wednesday. We'll see